Well, after spending last week at a private auction in Monaco, watching a pharmaceutical heiress bid $18 million on a Monet, only to lose interest the moment her rival dropped out, something absolutely fascinating hit me. She didn't want the painting, she wanted the fight. This got me thinking about the most intriguing aspect of extreme wealth. Why do billionaires willingly submit to waiting lists, jump through hoops, and pay astronomical premiums, not for products themselves, but for the privilege of being told no? Today we're moving into the psychology of exclusivity, and what I'm about to share will completely change how you view the ultra-wealthy. Let's start with a fundamental truth about human nature. We want what we can't have. But when you're worth billions, very few things fall into that category. This is where exclusivity becomes intoxicating. It's not about the object itself. It's about joining an invisible fraternity of individuals who have been deemed worthy. Take Patek Philippe's most coveted timepieces. The Grandmaster Chime, priced at approximately $2.5 million, isn't just expensive, it's unavailable. The Swiss manufacturer produces only a handful each year, and they don't sell to just anyone with deep pockets. They curate their clientele like a museum curates art. You need a relationship, a history, a pedigree in their world. Even Jeff Bezos couldn't simply walk into a boutique and purchase their most exclusive pieces without the proper introduction and waiting period. This creates something fascinating: artificial scarcity in a world of abundance. When you can afford anything, the only luxury left is time and access. What's particularly intriguing is how this dynamic plays out in real time. I've personally witnessed a tech billionaire worth $15 billion spend 3 hours in a Patek Philippe boutique in Geneva, not to purchase anything, but simply to maintain his relationship with the brand manager. He bought a $30,000 travel clock, something he'll likely never use, just to ensure he remains in consideration for future exclusive releases. The psychological investment goes far beyond the financial one. It's about maintaining status within an invisible hierarchy that operates by its own mysterious rules. Perhaps no brand exemplifies this better than Hermès and their infamous Birkin bag. With prices starting at $10,000 and reaching astronomical heights of $500,000 for exotic leather variants, you'd think money would be the primary barrier. But here's where it gets interesting. Hermès doesn't want your money immediately. They want your devotion. The unwritten rule at Hermès is simple. You must establish a purchase history before even being offered a Birkin. And we're talking about spending $50,000 to $100,000 on other Hermès products first. Scarves, belts, home goods, essentially proving your commitment to the brand. Only then might a sales associate mention that a Birkin could become available. I've witnessed billionaire wives spending entire afternoons in Hermès boutiques, not shopping for what they want, but shopping for the privilege to eventually shop for what they truly desire. It's a masterclass in psychological manipulation, and it works brilliantly. Exclusivity taps into our primal need for tribal belonging. When Soho House expanded globally, they didn't just create a chain of upscale clubs. They created a worldwide society of creative professionals willing to pay $3,000 annually just for the right to belong. Members don't just pay for beautiful spaces and excellent service. They pay to surround themselves with a curated community of like-minded individuals. But even within exclusive circles, there are more exclusive circles. The most successful entrepreneurs I know aren't satisfied with standard first-class travel. They've moved beyond even private jet ownership to something far more rarefied: jet shares in companies like NetJets, where a 25-hour annual commitment starts at $500,000. But the real exclusivity comes from accessing aircraft that aren't available for charter by the general public. Luxury brands have perfected the art of making abundant things appear scarce. Take Rolls-Royce's Cullinan Black Badge. They could produce hundreds of these $400,000 SUVs monthly, but they deliberately limit production to maintain an aura of exclusivity. The same principle applies to Richard Mille watches, where annual production is intentionally capped at around 4,000 pieces worldwide, ensuring that even their entry-level $80,000 timepieces feel exclusive. This manufactured scarcity creates something economists called Veblen goods, products where demand actually increases as price increases, defying traditional market logic. The higher the price and the more difficult the acquisition, the more desirable these items become. But exclusivity has evolved beyond physical goods into experiences that money alone cannot buy. Consider Burning Man, an event where billionaires like Larry Ellison and Mark Zuckerberg must still endure the lottery system for tickets. No amount of wealth guarantees entry. You must participate in the same process as everyone else. This democratization of access, paradoxically, makes it more valuable to those accustomed to buying their way to the front of the line. Similarly, reservations at Copenhagen's Noma, often considered the world's best restaurant, require timing, persistence, and luck, qualities that can't be purchased. When billionaires find themselves frantically refreshing a website at the exact moment reservations open, hoping to secure one of a limited number of tables, that's exclusivity at its finest. For the ultra-wealthy, exclusivity serves as a form of social currency. Owning a Ferrari LaFerrari isn't just about the $1.4 million price tag. It's about being one of only 499 individuals worldwide selected by Ferrari to purchase one. The selection process involves extensive background checks, proof of Ferrari ownership history, and essentially an application process. This transforms ownership from a simple transaction into a badge of honor, proof that you've been deemed worthy by one of the most prestigious automotive brands in history. The same principle applies to real estate. Purchasing a penthouse in Manhattan's 432 Park Avenue isn't just about the $95 million price point. It's about joining an exclusive group of fewer than 100 families who call this architectural marvel home. It's social, architectural, and geographic. Perhaps the most precious commodity for the wealthy isn't money. It's time. This is where exclusivity becomes particularly powerful. Someone worth $10 billion chooses to wait 2 years for a custom Aston Martin Valkyrie instead of purchasing any of hundreds of immediately available supercars. They're making a statement that transcends financial capability. These individuals understand that delayed gratification amplifies eventual satisfaction. The anticipation, the waiting, the gradual progress updates, these become part of the luxury experience itself. It's psychological luxury at its most sophisticated level. Exclusive purchases often come with exclusive networks. When you buy into certain levels of exclusivity, you're not just purchasing a product or service, you're gaining access to a community. Private jet companies like FlexJet don't just sell flight hours, they facilitate connections between their high net worth members. The same applies to exclusive watch collecting circles, where ownership of certain pieces grants access to private viewings, factory tours, and relationships with master craftsmen. These networks often prove more valuable than the initial purchase. Business deals worth hundreds of millions have been struck in the lounges of exclusive clubs, during private viewings at auction houses, or aboard specially chartered yachts accessible only to members of certain elite circles. In a world where money can buy almost anything instantly, the ultimate status symbol becomes waiting. It's counterintuitive, but true. When Larry Ellison puts his name on a waiting list, when Bernard Arnault submits to an interview process for membership, when Elon Musk accepts no as an answer, these moments represent the pinnacle of exclusivity. The wealthy don't just want to buy luxury, they want to earn it, even when earning means simply waiting or being selected. This transforms consumption from a transactional experience into an achievement, adding layers of psychological satisfaction that pure purchasing power cannot provide. As we move forward, exclusivity continues evolving. Space tourism companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin aren't just selling seats, they're selling the ultimate exclusive experience. With tickets priced at $450,000 and extensive training requirements, they've created the perfect storm of financial barrier, physical commitment, and absolute scarcity. The most fascinating aspect? Even as these companies scale up, they'll likely maintain artificial limitations to preserve the exclusive nature of space travel. Because ultimately, exclusivity isn't about what you can afford, it's about what you're allowed to experience. So what do you think? Have you ever found yourself wanting something more simply because it was difficult to obtain? Would you wait years for the privilege of purchasing something you could afford immediately? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely love hearing your perspectives on these psychological puzzles of luxury. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the minds of the ultra-wealthy, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, we have some incredible stories coming your way, including an upcoming exploration of the most exclusive private islands that money can't simply buy. As always, I'm your guide through the extraordinary world of luxury. And until next time, remember, Sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't for sale, they're for earning. Until we meet again in the realm of the extraordinary.